Hey, it's Mr. Drew here, and today I have a very special guest, Pam Leo, a friend of mine and a fellow book fairy, and we're going to talk about books and what a book fairy is. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Stay tuned. So, welcome back, everybody, and I want to introduce you to my friend Pam Leo. She wrote a book called Please Read to Me. And this is one of the books when you're watching my YouTube channels, you'll see on my desk, because books are very, very important to me. When I started doing this, we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have anything. We had books. And that sounds so long ago and so far-fetched, but books are still very important and relevant to this day. And I still love books. So much so I have a free library behind me. When you come and visit, these books are for you to take home. And there's books for adults as well. And I love giving away books as much as I can. And as you walk through my center, each section has its own little library with books pertaining to the animals in that section that you can sit and look at and read and learn. When I grew up, I spent most of my time in the libraries just reading books. I learned as much as I could through books. And I'd go not only to my public library, my school library, enough that I started working in a small private church library as a kid. And it just became a big part of my life. And some of the books here are still my original books. And I have even some of my artwork in those books when I was 5 and 6 years old. So books have always been a big part of my life and still are. I can never get enough books. And I'm always kind of sad to give them away because I want them. But the important thing is that I share with everybody. And so I do so many things with books and I just love it. And I hope you guys get into the habit of reading too, because it really is important to help us better understand the world around us. The one thing I like about books compared to the internet is books have to be fact-checked. There's editors involved and they go through and make sure that everything is correct. On the internet, not so much. People can put whatever they want out there, and that doesn't mean it's always right or true. And as you know, we have Mr. Boo, who sometimes comes in and tells us things that aren't true. But today we have Pam, and she's written many of books, and she runs an organization called the
It's a mouthful. Book Fairy Pantry Project.
the Book Fairy Pantry Project, and she's going to tell us all about it and what she does.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about
You're
it.
very welcome. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure. It was fun finding you. So, it'll be 10 years ago in April, my great-grandson was born, and I was writing a letter to his mother, my granddaughter, telling her how important it was going to be to start reading to him right away. Somehow that letter to her morphed into a poem that I called Please Read to Me. And I thought, this is kind of good. I think I'll see if there might be some early literacy programs that might want to use it. And so I started researching and Googling, and every site I landed on had this same statistic, that 2/3 of the 15.5 million children living in poverty in this country did not own one book. I was just astounded. I kept seeing it again and again and again. I'm like, well, it must be true if it's everywhere.
Right?
And I thought, you know what, as one person, I can't do much about poverty, but I know I can do something about getting books into children's homes. I did the math, and the thought of 10 million children going to bed every night with no bedtime story because they didn't own any books was just completely unacceptable to me. And one of my favorite quotes is that we have two choices in life, that we can accept things the way they are, or we can do something to change them. And I decided to do something to change it. And so I thought, I know there's an abundance of available free books. The problem is distribution. How do we get them from the people who have them to the people who need them? And then one day a light bulb just went off. Food pantries. Almost every community has one. It would be the perfect distribution. And if families need help with food, they also need help with books. And I was a parenting instructor at the Maine Correctional Center for 18 years with inmate parents. And one of the things that they taught me was that no matter what other people do for their children, they want to do for their own children. And I thought, if parents get to pick out books at the food pantry, they know their children. Bobby likes dinosaurs and Susie likes horses. Let's take these home to them. And then they're more invested in reading in them. They're more precious to the children because their parents brought them
Right.
home for them. So it didn't really get the traction that I hoped it would at that time. And I now know why. And we're now working on making that different. But so I thought, all right, what other avenues? So WIC, Head Start. I wanted to reach all the places where there might be children who don't have books. And then I had this dream of turning that poem into this book. And every publisher I approached wanted to pick my illustrator. And I was like, no deal. And a young woman who volunteers to me said, Pam, what if you had a different illustrator for every stanza? And I said, that is brilliant. And
That's what I love about that.
yes, and they're fabulous. They're all teen illustrators. Many are youth illustrators. And I said, will you be one of them? And she said, if I can have the library stanza. So that was Matilda, Matt, and Matt did the library illustration in the book. And it just started coming together. We published it, and thanks to Stephen and Tabitha King's generosity, we got a grant to print 12,000 of them the first time. And we got an agreement with WIC throughout the state that they would give them out to the children, because at that time we still had racing readers. And so they were given out at the hospital and well child visits. So I thought, where can we go that it will be another book for them, which was through WIC and Head Start. So it just has been growing and growing, and since then. Then we got the devastating news that we lost racing readers.
Mm-hmm.
And my biggest concern about that is the books for the newborns, because when we had raising readers, we had literacy equity. Every baby started life with books in their life. We no longer have that, and we need to restore it. So I am just pulling out all the stops, every avenue that I can think of. And we're going to apply in April again, hopefully for the Stephen and Tabitha King grant, so we can keep our New Books for New Babies program going. They're given out at Maine Med and at Mercy, some of the other hospitals that we've been able to reach. But we now have enough volunteer drivers that if we get the grant again, we'll be able to do all 20 birthing hospitals. And
Wonderful.
when books are part of the birth experience, it makes them special. And there's a program in Nova Scotia that's called Read to Me. I'm going to send them a copy of my book. And it's just for newborns. They get 2 books, and they've done research where if babies get books at birth, free books at birth, the parents read to them sooner and for longer times. So we still give out books for all ages. Our primary focus is birth to 5. But our biggest focus right now is the newborns and making sure they have books.
It's creating a habit, a beneficial habit. Because in this day and age, I know parents are very busy, and but to get them into the habit of reading with a newborn,
Right from the beginning,
it goes right on through 1, 2, 3 years of age, 4 years of age, and it's very important. My mother was always reading books. And so I picked up on her habits of reading, and it stuck with me to this day.
So she didn't just read to you; she herself was a reader.
She was a reader as well. So that's what we did. Is we read books, and it to this day stuck with me. And I remember people saying, "Oh, libraries will become a thing of the past," and it's like libraries are more important than ever.
More important. Than ever.
And they do more than just books, but they are still the place to be.
I think of them as the hearth of the community.
Yes, many things go on, and they do so much. I know they reach out, to me to come to them, with my animals, but then it ties out to kids taking all these books out on those animals they just learned about. And so it's a wonderful thing. And I'm always, when I'm there doing the library programs, I'm always plugging, this is where you guys need to be. Not here on your video game, but here at the library, because there's a world around you, and it can take you so far. And so, we emphasize it so much especially when I'm doing those shows.
So I see the library as key going forward to restoring literacy equity. When I walked in here and saw your white wicker chairs, I went, I had a white wicker basket in my car, because we're encouraging libraries to have a white wicker basket with books that are free. So just put out on social media a request, ideally for mini board books, because they fit well in there.
Yeah.
So the books are free. They come into the library, and all they need to do is put the basket out with the free books in it. And that way, every expectant and new parents can still welcome their babies with books. Because for 23 years, that's what happened. All babies were welcomed with books.
Mhm.
All babies born in Maine got books. And we need to restore that somehow. And what an easy way to do it. No budget that can be taken away. It's just a gift from the community.
And, that's the thing people don't, realize is that, as you mentioned, we might not be able to change the whole world around us, but we can make a change in our world. And that's how I look at things is I can't control what's going on in Washington, D.C. or in Augusta, but I can control this. And I can do as much as I can. And I remember when we opened up our facility in Lewiston at the time, we were having a lot of Maine authors coming in. And that's where I first found out about the Book Fairy Pantry Project. And that's how we kind of started communicating and stuff. And then I realized one of the things you do is with the Head Starts is you get these little kits together, little bags. You get a little stuffy animal, TY, little beanie baby, and then you pair it up with the appropriate book. And then all the Head Start programs who lost a lot of funding were getting these free books all because of you. And
all the people who
the people who donated and stuff. Well, yeah, but you coordinated it. But yeah, and so one of the things that we did is we said, hey, if you've got beanie babies that are just sitting there doing nothing, we'll take them in and get them to where they need to be. And this is where they needed to be. And so we know that through support of you folks, with my connections, we got them to where they need to be. And that's one of the things that I want to do is make sure that we can all be part of the community. Not just me, not just Pam, but all of us. A simple thing of beanie babies sitting in your bag in a closet doing nothing and just being donated is a wonderful thing. It can get to some and make a child's difference because she realized that if there's something tangible to hold while the story is being read to them, it becomes that much more special. The book and the things that they're holding.
Funny about that. I used to think the stuffy brought the story alive, but one day a parent told me their child said, "Will you read me the story of my stuffy?" And I suddenly realized, no, the story brings the stuffy alive.
Right.
And I used to do public events where I gave away books. And there would be two kinds of children sort of that would come by our table. There would be the child who said, "Look, Dad, it's Goodnight Moon" on the table. And you knew that was a child being read to. And then there'll be other children who would come by and I'll say, "Free books." And they're like, "I don't need any books. Thank you."
Right.
And I knew there was no magic. So I thought, how can we put some magic in there? And it makes sense to have something
The two
tangible.
things
I
together.
do Reading Buddy with first graders, and I bring my story bags with me. So they get to play with the toy while I read them the story. And people will often say to me, "Well, don't they just play with the toy and not pay attention to the story?" Absolutely not. They are tracking 100%. If I say the kitty leaped into the air, they throw the beanie into the air. They are here, every word.
Right.
So it really has been a major bonus. And if it causes them to fall in love with one book, if they can fall in love with one book, they can fall in love with books. And that's our goal, is for children to fall in love with books.
And it's a noble goal. It really is. And because I've always said that, if we could just make one difference in the life of somebody, we've done our job.
Mhm.
We've succeeded. We've created something that now will go beyond us. And it doesn't have to be hundreds and thousands of people. One can make a difference. One can always make a difference. It's like my one piece challenge of picking up trash. One piece, that's all we need to do. And we can make a difference. So,
Will you say your quote again that I love so much about rising ships?
all rising tides raise all ships. So, if you're looking at a boat in the water and all these boats are out there, if the tides go up, all the ships go up. And when the tides go down, all of them go down. And so we can be that tide. And when we succeed, we can help others succeed too. And so that's always been my goal, is that this is not about me. I don't want to be rich. I don't want money. I want to do good. And so that's why I do a lot of the things I do is because it's the right thing to do.
Well,
To support
like the
others.
beanies, for example. is you gave people an opportunity to give, and then you got them to me, and then we turn them into story bags that go out to children that cause them to fall in love with books, and they become a reader when they might not have, and they become someone who invents something, it just ripples
Right.
out and out and out.
It's a very much a chain reaction.
Yeah.
So one thing leads to the other. And so never think, you guys, that you can't make a difference or that one thing you do is not going to make a difference. It will. It always can be. So.
What I love about this project too is that there's a job for everyone. I mean, the books that we give out, they're books for children from children. So the littlest children are working for social justice. That's amazing. I have elders. My mom, before she passed, her job used to be I'd come home from Goodwill with a stack of books and she'd put them on her walker in front of her and take all the price tags off for me. Now I think of my mom every time I take a price tag off a book. And I mean, most of our books are donated, but I have a little thing that I do for myself. My greatest fun is buying books. So I give myself an allowance every week that I call my recreation allowance, and I go to Goodwill by the pound, and you can buy books for 50 cents a pound, and I get to pick out the ones that I really want to see children have. So I supplement the donations, and we have people who do that as well. I have people who don't even have children at home anymore who will go to the Goodwills and library sales and yard sales, and they just buy books for a quarter or 50 cents, and they'll bring me a whole bag. And
Right.
it's like Christmas for me when they show up with these fabulous bags of books.
I've been to her storage facility where she keeps all this stuff, and I'll tell you what, it's pretty full. It's amazing. So yeah, and they keep coming in, and I have people all the time that we have books, or my children have books that they're no longer reading. They like to give them to you, and it's like, yes, we'll take them. Because again, whether they go to you or whether they go to kids that come here
Right.
or any place, that's
Why do
what
they
they're
give
for.
children?
I just can't stand throwing books in the trash can. It's
Well,
a sin.
That's the other thing about this project that I love too. It's not as much, but nearly as much about recycling as it is about literature.
Oh, it is. It's very important.
Because when you get a book from the library, it's not brand new. So why would a child not be happy to get a gently loved book?
Right. As
And
long as the
have a
pages aren't
library.
ripped and
Yeah.
So,
And I always tell people we don't give out damaged books, but we do give out repaired books. And we have a volunteer who is super duper at repairing. Like, we'll get a batch from a school or something that are still perfectly good, but the spines are broken.
yeah.
So we use painter's tape and just put a new spine on them,
Yeah,
and
fix
they
them
go
up.
off to another life.
So I think, is there anything else you want to add?
Two things.
Two things.
I noticed you have a Raising Reader book here.
Yes.
And in the 23 years that Raising Readers existed, they gave out over 4 million books. And those books are out there somewhere in Maine, outgrown, and we want them back so that we can give them out free again. So Lots for Tots in Scarborough and Falmouth are donations locations for Raising Reader books. The Bookworm in Gorham, people are stepping up. Instead of selling them, which they're not supposed to be sold anyway, they're donating them us so we can either make story bags, like I would put a bunny with this,
Yes.
or we get them out to food pantries. So anybody who has Raising Reader books, we'd love to have them back so we can give them out again.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that we do is we have a sort of sister project that I call Book Angel Readers for Seniors. When I used to read to my mom whenever she'd be in rehab, which was fairly frequently, and her roommates would always love it. So when she passed, I thought, wouldn't it be great if we had a program where people could read to residents? And so we get all Chicken Soup for the Soul books. I get them at Goodwill very inexpensively, and we donate them to area care facilities. So there are books there for visitors and volunteers to read to the residents. It's just a really nice project.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I think we covered a lot.
We did. And so we are a drop-off site. So if you have something for the Book Fairy Pantry Project, whether it's beanies, board books, chicken soul, chicken soup for the soul, or the Raising Reader books, we can make sure they get to her. And that way she can redistribute them and stuff like that to help out everyone in our community. So I want to thank you all. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about this, and hopefully you too can become a book fairy just by simply giving books away and making sure they get to people. That's all it takes. And also make sure you subscribe to this channel, turn on your notifications, and give us a big thumbs up if you like our content. And As fairies say when they don't say goodbye,
Fly with you.
fly with you. So remember that. Joyfully fly with you, and peace and love in these wild times.